right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Baha Kodash. The one is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love to the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And as you can see, the title of this live show is going to be Not As Though I Had Already Attained. And that is a quote from the book of Philippians, chapter 3, the 12th verse, the first half of the verse. All right. And this is something that the Apostle Paul said concerning salvation and concerning him already having pretty much the kingdom in perfection. He said this because he didn't achieve what he was fighting for at the moment, right? He understood that he had to continue to preach Yahushai to do the work, right? In order to obtain that crown, that seat of salvation, man. He had to do his lot, right? What he was chosen to do. And that's to preach the word of Yahweh Shai and the hardness and everything else that comes with this truth. Okay? And so I'm doing this lesson in hopes to encourage you brothers and sisters out there to continue to push in the fight in Yahweh Shai. It's not an easy job, but this is the way to salvation. It's not easy, but this is the way to obtain salvation, right? As Yahweh said, it's a straight gate, right? Meaning a place of difficulty, right? Not in the sense of just a straight line, but it's a place of difficulty. Okay? You're gonna go through things, man. You're gonna take L's. It's gonna be rough. And then, you read the scriptures about our forefathers, man. They've been through a lot. They went through a lot, okay? Even until being unalived. But nevertheless, they sealed their lots. They sealed their salvation, man, and stand faithful unto Yahweh Shai. And this is the mindset that we got to take on because we haven't made it yet, all right? We're still in captivity to this day. Jake is still cursed. Our enemies still rule over us. We're eating poisonous food. The water is poison. We don't have control over our kids. People's minds are polluted. The laws of the Most High not being kept. It's all jacked up, okay? And Esau coming with the MOTB system. So we haven't obtained the salvation yet. We got to keep on grinding and keep on pushing, regardless of your situation, man. We all can sit back. We can pout. We can complain about our situations and what we're going through. Brother, they ain't getting you nowhere. We all can sit back and pout and complain. I can do it too. But what's the point of that? Everything that we suffer ultimately is planned by the Most High, man. No matter what it is, the Most High put us in these situations, right? But it's on us to remain faithful regardless of what it is. So therefore, to do, man, let's hop into this here. And I pray that this is encouraging and edifying to you brothers and sisters out there, all right? So starting here, Philippians 3 and 12, it says, not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, meaning what? Him obtaining the kingdom of heaven, him having salvation, right? Being saved already. And this is a narrative in the Christian church that they're already saved. And so that's why you see Christians doing the most ridiculous things out in the world. These are some of the biggest hypocrites known to mankind are Christians, okay? And they think that they're covered by the blood, they're already saved. They've been baptized, so they can go be gay. They can go, be a pimp, be a whatever, a whore. Just ridiculous. But that's their beliefs, that they're already saved. This is the Apostle Paul, chosen by Yahushua. He said that he haven't been saved yet, right? It says, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of Hamashiach Yahushua. So Paul is saying, look, I follow after, meaning what? I press on. I push towards that goal of being saved, of being delivered by Yahushua. And this is the attitude that we got to have toward this truth, man. Okay? You got to have a positive outlook, a positive attitude about this truth. Don't get caught up in the now and the conditions of our situations, man. This is prophecy, okay? We're looking past this, all right? The true believers are looking past this hell, man, into a new world, a better situations, right? So we got to push through this crap in order to get that blessing. It says, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended. So Paul is saying, look, I am not saved already, okay? I haven't received my crown yet. I haven't received my brand new body yet, right? So Paul said, I count not myself to have apprehended. But this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. And that's a positive attitude to have in the truth, all right? You can't dwell on the past. The past is the past, bro. It's behind you. Okay, things happen. Okay, cool. Whatever. The goal is to push forward. The goal is to reach the kingdom, man. That's the goal. And that should be a collective goal of the believers, right? And the elect will have that positive attitude. Forgetting those things which are behind, pushing forward toward the kingdom, man. And that kind of attitude, that kind of mindset is going to pull you through a lot, man. It's going to pull you through crazy situations, all right? Understanding that, look, my situation is what I got to deal with at the moment. Things don't stay the same forever. Nothing stays the same forever, okay? Nothing. But Yahweh Shai. But these conditions, these situations ain't going to stay the same forever, bro. So it says once again, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. Verse 14 says, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of the Most High in Hamashiach Yahushua. So Paul is saying, I'm pushing for that prize, right? I'm grinding to get the reward of the kingdom. That should be your mindset, okay? Nothing else matters, man. You got to understand what you're truly trying to seek, okay? Bro, we're talking about everlasting life, okay? Never dying again. That alone seems impossible. Just that alone. Never dying again. Death is all we know. Pain and struggle and sickness. This is all we know, bro. But we're pushing through faith saying, look, no, there's something better than this. And we're going to get it if we keep on pressing in this thing, man. If you keep on reaching towards that mark, that should be your mindset, right? We want the prize, man, the goal. All right. And some always say, as the scriptures say, first and foremost, is to sit with Yahushua in this throne. You think that's an easy task? Listen to that. To sit with Yahushua in his throne. What does it take? That's something you got to ask yourself, man. What does it take to get to that? Well, it's in the scriptures. Read the book of Acts, okay? That's what it takes, the book of Acts. Read that. If you want to know what it means to sit with Yahushua in his throne, what it takes, the book of Acts. Regardless of what you have to face, even unto being unalive, how bad you want that crown, how bad you want that seat. See, the apostles of old, man, they looked past their situations. Now, some of them did think that the kingdom was coming then, right? They thought the kingdom of heaven was coming then. But it wasn't time, okay? More things had to take place. And at the time, most of them didn't understand that, right? We see that in the scriptures. More things had to take place, but we're in that time now of what the apostles were looking for back then. We're in those exact times. The MOTB system is upon us, man. It's only a matter of time for this thing hit. And we're going to be up out of here, bro. Brother, that's the beauty of this thing, man. Once Esau comes forth with this digital currency, man, you can pretty much put the nail in the coffin. Once they get that up and running, you can cancel, bro. Babylon finished. It's over with. Everything gonna move fast, man. They're talking about AGI, and the capabilities of it, and then ASI. So they're gonna move pretty fast. And we're gonna be the hell up out of here. That's the goal, right? Next scripture. 1 Corinthians 9:24 says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain." And this truth is likened unto a race, a marathon, okay? And a lot of people are running in this race. There are Israelite camps all over Babylon, all across the pond over there, all around the world. It's brothers and sisters everywhere, right? They're everywhere. But only one received the prize. Who is that one? Ultimately, that's the elect. That's who's going to get that prize, man. Ultimately, all of Israel will get the prize, right? Ultimately. But on this side, only the elect going to get it. So Paul says, so run that you may obtain. That you may get it, you got to keep going. If you're running in a race, the race ain't over with until you cross the finish line. We haven't crossed it yet. It's in sight. We can see it in the distance, right? But until we cross it, look, bro, the race isn't done. We're seeing guys who was once in the race and in the race no more. Just totally gave up, right? This truth, it wasn't so attractive and sexy to them anymore, man. Went through a little hell, and now it's the Most High fault that they're going through something. Which the Lord do put you through stuff, man. But you guys, man, they're complaining to hell, bro. Like, whatever, bro. Do you, man? But just know that your legacy is going to be that you gave up. Imagine if Yahweh gave up. We wouldn't have this. If he would have gave up, we would not have what we have. But thanks be to the Most High that Yahweh didn't give up, because we'll be through. Right? It says, and everyone that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible, right? So we see these athletes in the world, right? They do all the training and the, sweating and being disciplined to obtain a corruptible crown, right? An NBA championship, NFL, soccer, whatever it may be. They do all that to themselves in order to win, right? To come out on top, victorious. But it's in the flesh. We're trying to be victorious and obtaining the corruptible crown, the kingdom of heaven, as I was saying earlier. We're talking about everlasting life, bro. Well, bro, we don't know what that is. What is that? Right? A brand new body? What is that? Never to sin again? Bro, we don't know what that's like. But the Lord promised those things, man. To have land and servants and livestock. Just everything. Family, man, children. We ain't got none of this, bro. Just sit back and think about it. Like, we don't got none of this stuff. But the Most High is promising to reverse these curses, man. He's going to reverse our conditions and put Jay back on top. It's going to blow our minds, bro. That damn, bro, we went from being at the bottom of the bottom, the butt of every joke, right? People hate Jake, want to, unalive Jake, man, simply because of how Jake look. But that's going to change. And the world is going to respect Jake again, right? They're going to fear Jake like they feared David, right? And the mighty men, right? The men of Israel, they was feared. Well, guess what? That fear going to be amplified, okay? It's going to be amplified. And they're going to fear Jake, man. And they're going to bend the knee. So that's what we're fighting for, okay? The incorruptible crown. It says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So in other words, Paul is saying, I'm not just doing this just to be doing it. I'm doing this in hopes to obtain the prize, right? To get the glory, man. You got to understand that. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, in the truth, right? Lest by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So Paul is saying, look, I'm trying my best to live this gospel, right? As he said in verse 14, those who preach it, you got to live it, because you can preach it and you can be you can be damn good at it, right? At preaching. But you can be terrible at applying it to yourself. Terrible. And we see examples of that. And these guys aren't in the faith anymore because they ain't ultimately applying the word of the Lord to themselves, man. And so they have become castaways. I ain't a Hebrew Israelite. I'm black. Nigga just through. But hey, man, that's on them, right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushai, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. So, in other words, you get this truth, right? You learn it, then you go teach it. Then you teach other men, they learn it, then they go teach other men, they learn it, and so on and so forth. And that's how the elect is sealed, right? It says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahushua. No man that warred entangled himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. And the Lord has chosen us, man. Out of all the Israelites in the world, we're here, okay? Out of all the, billions of Jakes, the Lord only gave his word to a few. Brother, it's some Jakes out here that, so they ain't heard about this thing. If they did, they're like, what, whatever, But we got to endure hardness, man. As I was saying earlier, the Lord puts you through things, man. Sometimes it don't feel good. A lot of times it don't feel good, right? But you got to keep grinding. Got to keep pushing, man. And then Paul speaks about not entangling yourself with the affairs of this life. And the reason being is that you can get caught up in it. The affairs of this life can choke the word, man, and pull you out this thing, okay? That's why you got to be careful, man. There's something I'm learning more and more, bro. Be careful, bro. Think, okay? Because you can put yourself in some crazy situations, man, to where now you ain't in the truth, all right? Excuse me. We were chosen by the Lord, man, to do what we're doing. It says, and if a man also strive for masteries, yet he is not crowned, except he strive lawfully. So we're striving, right, for the kingdom. Well, we ain't going to get crowned except we strive lawfully, according to the book. That's how we're going to be saved, by doing what does say Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and not what our flesh says, or what the world says, okay? And the last scripture here is Hebrews 6:9. It says, but beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and things that accompany salvation, though we does speak, for the Most High is not unrighteous, to forget your work and labor of love, which you have showed toward his name, and that you have ministered to the saints, and do minister. So the Most High won't forget the works that we have put in. If you keep working, right? You can't stop working. Keep doing the work, right? It says, which you have showed toward his name, and that you have ministered to the saints and do minister, meaning do service. It says, and we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end. Meaning what? Do the work. Be diligent, right? Regardless, you got to do the work, man. And this is an everyday committed thing, right? That you are looking forward to preaching the gospel, man. Regardless of what you're going through, right? Use your situation as a testimony, man. If you're going through things, use that and make it into a lesson. And you'll be surprised by how many souls you'll touch, or like brothers that you'll touch, man, by your testimony, right? By, you dealing with things. You never know, bro. But if you ain't doing the work, then you'll never know. For sure, you'll never know then, right? It says that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises, right? See the man doing the work of the Lord, you do the work, man. The apostle, those, the brothers, the bishop, they grind it. Doing the work, guess what? You got to grind, also do the work. Trying to inherit the promise. That's the ultimate goal. Trying to obtain the promises, man. This is what we do, So I'll close out with that. I pray that was edifying through the Spirit, man. I'll praise you. How about you know, Shalom.